Hey kids, welcome to section 9.4 real estate taxes. Today we're going to learn how to calculate the assessed value and the real estate taxes for a home. Big question for today is, why do local governments sometimes need to increase property taxes? So if roads need to be fixed, if schools need to be updated, if things need to happen around the community, that's where your property taxes come in. And so when you live in a town, all of the money for your property taxes go back to the town. So if things need to be done around town, that's where your property taxes come from. So when you own a home, you will have to pay city or county real estate taxes. And real estate taxes are collected by the city or county from homeowners to pay for roads, parks, schools, government offices, and other services. The amount of real estate tax that you pay in 1 year depends on many things. First of all, it depends on your assessed value. So, this is the dollar value a tax assessor assigns to a property for taxation purposes. So the county tax assessor's job is to go around and assess how much houses are worth. And then based on how much houses are worth, then we can calculate how much the taxes are. Another thing that you need to know is what the tax rate is. And this is the percent of property value collected in taxes, and it's expressed in something called mills per dollar of the property's assessed value. And different cities have different tax rates. If you live somewhere like Los Angeles, the tax rates are going to be a lot higher than if you live somewhere else like Danville. Or even Champaign has different tax rates, or Mahomet has higher tax rates than St. Joseph. So different cities and towns have different tax rates. It just depends on what's in the city that needs to be done. We have something called a market value, which is the price at which a property can be bought or sold. So if we look at what the market value of the house is, that's how much it would be, say, put on the market for. That could be different than the assessed value, because your house could be assessed at more, but it wouldn't sell on the market very much, so that value's lower. There's also something called a rate of assessment, and this is the percent of the market value that is going to be taxed, because you don't necessarily get taxed on 100% of your property value, but a portion of it. So we have two formulas today: how to find the assessed value and how to find the real estate taxes. So the assessed value is when you take the market value of the house, how much it could be bought or sold at, and multiply by the rate of assessment, or how much of the house is going to be used for taxation purposes. And then once you find the assessed value, you can find the real estate tax by taking the tax rate, dividing by 1,000, and then multiplying by whatever the assessed value is. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Number one, the Madison County Tax Assessor determined that the market value of Cortland Farm is $340,000. That's how much the farm could be bought or sold for. The rate of assessment in the county is 40% of market value, and the tax rate is 50.73 mils. All right, so the farm can be bought or sold at $340,000. The county looks at 40% of that market value to be taxed on, and the tax rate is essentially 50 cents for every dollar. No, 50 cents, no, 5 cents for every dollar. My bad. So to calculate the assessed value, you're going to take the market value and multiply by the rate of assessment. So the market value is 340,000. The rate of assessment is 40%. So if I multiply these, I get $136,000. That's how much money the state can take your taxes from. They're not going to take all of it. They're going to take a portion of it. And so the tax rate as a decimal is going to be whatever the mills are, which is just a unit of measurement, divided by 1,000. So this is called the tax rate. It basically means for every dollar that your house is worth, you're going to pay 5 cents. That's what that means. So then to find the real estate tax for Part C, you can take the tax rate, divide by 1,000, and then multiply by the assessed value. So take the tax rate, 50.73, divide by 1,000, and then multiply by the assessed value, which we got in Part A, 136,000. So if I do these calculations, I get $6,899.28. So that means that this one property, Cortland Farm, is going to give the county almost $6,900 every year, and they're going to use that money for schools, parks, roads, post office, government offices, things like that. Usually people take their taxes and they pay them twice a year. You get like little coupons in the mail that you have to then take to the bank or mail in. Most people get their taxes paid twice a year, although you can pay them once a year if you want. Okay, number 2, Ron and Barbara Lugo live in a city where the tax rate is 83.21 mils, so a little bit higher. The rate of assessment is 100%. That means whatever the market value of the house is, we're going to be taxed on all of it. The property that the Lugos own has a market value of $367,500. What is their real estate tax for a year? So we first need to find the assessed value. So we take the market value, 367,500, and multiply by the rate of assessment. So 100% is 1.00. So that means we're taxed on everything. So $367,500. Then to find the actual real estate taxes, you take the tax rate, 83.21, divide by 1,000, and multiply by the assessed value, 367,500. This comes out to a yearly tax rate of $30,579.68. Okay, that is ginormous. Now, normally people are not going to be taxed on everything, but I wanted to throw it in there. So this is a huge tax bill. That's huge. But again, they live in a place where they tax 100%. There are plenty of places that do not. In fact, it's very rare if they tax at 100%. Okay, I've got 2 more examples. Number 3, Row Ranch has a market value of $70,000. The tax rate is $65.50 per 1,000, and the rate of assessment is 35%. Okay, this 65.50 per $1,000, that's the same thing as saying 65.50 mils. It's just another way of saying it. Part A says to calculate the assessed value. So that means to take the market value, $70,000, and multiply by the rate of assessment, 0.35. If I do this, I get an assessed value of $24,500. That's the amount of money that the city could tax you on. That's not how much they're going to take, that's how much they could take. Then the real estate taxes for the year are going to be the tax rate, 65.50, divided by 1,000, and then multiply by the assessed rate, 24,500, or the assessed value. This gives us a yearly tax rate of $1,604.75. That's not too bad. Usually you're going to pay a couple $1,000s in taxes. I would say between $3,000 and $5,000. Again, depending on where you live, how big a house you have, what kind of city or town you live in, all of those are going to change the amount of taxes. Okay, finally, number 4, Block 2 Business Math owns a property worth $270,000. The rate of assessment is 50% of the market value, and the tax rate is 48.75 mils. How much will the business pay in real estate taxes for the year? Okay, so first I have to find the assessed value. So take the market value, 270,000, and multiply by the rate of assessment, 0.50. This gives me assessment value of $135,000. Then to find the real estate taxes, we're going to take the tax rate, 48.75, divide by 1,000, and multiply by the assessment value, 135,000. This is going to give me a yearly tax of $6,581.25. So that's how much Block 2 Business Math has to pay each year for taxes. And some years the taxes will go up and some years the taxes will go down. It just depends on the area that you live in. And then finally, part B, how much will the business pay if they pay equal installments every month of the year? So some people choose to have their income taxes paid along with their mortgage every month. And it's pretty easy to do. If you know what the annual taxes are, $6,581.25, and you pay them every month, and you know how many months there are, 12, you can divide and you come out to $548.44 a month for taxes. And then that could go along with your mortgage, and you could pay one check each time. All right, so that's how you calculate real estate taxes. Again, real estate taxes can vary considerably depending on where you live, what kind of city you live in, how big of a house you live in, what the house looks like on the outside, and so forth. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. And as always, keep calm and keep trucking.